So continue the subject of civilization. If we find, say, an ancient relic where you have certain basic tools or food bowls or animal bones or sacrifices and rituals and stuff like that, I don't think that would meet the condition for being a civilization. You have to, I think one of the crucial indicator is the use of language. If there is no language, just some ancient tools, ancient stuff that left behind by those earlier humans, how can we tell they are civilized people? They could be Neanderthals. Even today's apes, the big apes, the chimpanzees could use some basic tools and can even make some tools. In fact, today I saw some news about chimpanzees able to use some stones to make some stone cutting tools. They hit one stone against another, make some sharp-edged stone knives. And so that is not civilization. To make tools is not civilization. It is really the language and also the societal structure, the hierarchical structure. Usually that kind of structure is built upon some kind of use of language. Typically when you have a few more hundred people, but still the hierarchical structure beyond basic family structures, basic tribes. A basic family structure is probably 20, 30, 40, 50 people at most. But once you reach a few hundred, people's relationship is no longer necessarily biological kinship. They could be just not related at all. In that regard, they have to have some mutually agreed principles to obey in order to stay together as a society. And that basic set of rules, you could call it a key framework for holding a society together. And that framework is the building block for civilization. So this is the point I have been trying to make many times. When some archaeologists discover some really old relic from the past in China, they say, well, yeah, that's our civilization is that many years, 5,000 years. That's fucking bullshit. Because that's basically just an indicator they are early humans. And if we use that as an indicator, you could literally define any ethnicity with a civilization of over 5,000 years. If you go to Germany, you go to Norway, you go to Scandinavia, there are places where you can find evidence of humans using tools, human makes some structures 8, 9, 10,000 years ago. But why don't they call themselves having a civilization of that many years? Because that's not civilization. That's basically a step above basic animal existence. But that's not civilization. Civilization is really a next level up for being a human. And such kind of what you call fraudulent labeling of history is what really make the CCP propaganda not able to withstand any debate. And that's one thing. The other thing is that if you make your civilization being 5,000 years as what you are proud of yourself of, that is another piece of bullshit. So earlier situation, well, Egypt, no matter how you measure it, has longer history of civilization. Even in the raw, strict definition of civilization, they're longer. But does that make being an Egyptian being proud today relative to, say, a Japanese or German or an American or a French? And contemporary Egyptians today living in a society that is probably one of the most chaotic, most backward, and also one of the most rigidly religious society. And look at the September 11th attack. A lot of Egyptians. So civilization, back to the topic of civilization. China does not have 5,000 years of civilization. By any stretch of imagination, China has about 3,000 or 3,500. That's still very long. That is quite long. But I don't see that as a way to say we have so many thousand years of civilization, therefore we are proud of ourselves, therefore we can rule the world. That's, again, is complete crap. Because, and in one of my talks, I also mentioned they also distorted the United States as having only 200 years of history. This might be a little bit migrating away from, digressing away from my topic. 200 years. The United States is actually based on the Roman tradition. The Romans have much much longer. Roman history is actually probably at least as long as Chinese history. The earliest Roman Empire is almost 3,000 years ago, and they have a lot of course, the earliest, the city of Rome, and in terms of the story, the myths and the stuff, is also kind of a bullshit. Twin brother got killed. Twin brothers. Mother got killed, and then they went to Rome, went to a city, Tiber River, whatever, and then they fight each other, kill each other. All of that's 2,800 years ago, I think. And of course, that's not real civilization. That is just a myth being propagated. That's it. But real Roman, earlier Roman Republic, Roman Empire history, that's 2,000 years, even longer. So back to the civilization. Different civilizations, of course, have different characteristics. Chinese civilization is marked by a single ruler have absolute totalitarian, authoritarian rule over the entire people. And Roman civilization is more distributed. They also have emperors fighting each other and killing each other, but they have the what you call triumvirate or something. The 3 emperors ruling together, 4 emperors ruling together, 2 emperors ruling together. That's in Chinese tradition. That's unimaginable. You have to have only one, and also they have the succession, line of succession is very different. Do not necessarily only have your son being the one. Of course, in China they have 3,000 concubines, and then they can have hundreds of sons. But back to the civilization, and we can say China has a long history of civilization, but it is not something that should be used to justify, to booster, to support any of the claims the Chinese Communist government make regarding how great the country is. And just look at what happened every day, and just shows this country today has no real civilization. In fact, I would say that today's legal system in China is not just behind the United States 200 years ago. In fact, it's behind the Roman Republic 2,000 years ago. Even at that time, there are some basic rules in respecting private property, but China does not, strictly speaking. And anything that happens, they say you have to 配合我们执行 执行法律 or whatever, basically means I can take whatever property. You have to cooperate, otherwise you are refusing and then you are against the law. The law is arbitrary.